Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you all the day's top stories, starting with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews steps to tackle drought and water scarcity in Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka, directs measures to provide assistance. Uttarakhand High Court to pronounce the verdict on Uttarakhand dissident MLAs on the 9th of May, decision to determine their participation in the next day's floor test. Railway authorities suspend train services between Srinagar and Banihal following clashes in Pulwama district. Protests break out after the news of a death of 3 Hizbul Mujahideen militants in an encounter. And London elects its first ever Muslim mayor. Sadiq Khan, the son of a Pakistani bus driver, will now lead the city for the Labour Party after ruling Conservative Party loses control of the capital. But first, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the drought situation in 3 worsted states of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Karnataka today. After a one-on-one meeting with the CMs of these 3 states, the Prime Minister directed immediate assistance to be provided. While UP has asked for 11,000 crore rupees, Maharashtra and Karnataka have also sought financial assistance to tackle the crisis.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the drought situation in Uttar Pradesh on Saturday during a meeting with State's Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. Yadav sought a financial assistance of around 11,000 crore from the centre under various heads.
उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को जो जरूरतें हैं और खासकर जो बुंदेलखंड इलाके में चीजें पहुंचनी हैं, उसको लेकर के जो बैठक हुई है, मैं समझता हूं प्रधानमंत्री जी और केंद्र सरकार और जो बातें मैंने अपनी तरफ से प्रदेश की जनता और खासकर बुंदेलखंड की जनता के लिए रखी हैं, मैं समझता हूं उनको पूरी ईमानदारी से मदद होगी.
Maharashtra CM Devendra Fadnavis and his Karnataka counterpart Siddaramaiah also met Modi on this issue and received assurances of full support in tackling the crisis.
इस साल हमने ये तय किया है कि 20 लाख नए किसानों को हम क्रेडिट सिस्टम में लाएंगे और इसलिए हमने उनको कहा कि जो हमारा स्टेट क्रेडिट प्लान है, इसमें 15,000 करोड़ का इजाफा किया जाए ताकि हम 20 लाख किसानों को क्रेडिट सिस्टम में ला पाए. और इसके साथ साथ 2012 में जो सूखा पड़ा था, उसमें बड़े पैमाने पर किसान अपना कर्जा नहीं भर पाए, वो डिफॉल्टर हुए और क्रेडिट सिस्टम से बाहर हुए. उन सभी को 2012 से लेकर 16 तक के सभी किसानों को क्रेडिट सिस्टम में लाने के लिए हम लोग उनका रीशेड्यूलिंग करना चाहते हैं.
During his meeting with the 3 chief ministers, Modi said the centre and states have to work together to fight the drought crisis. A statement from the Prime Minister's office said that 934.32 crore rupees had been released to Uttar Pradesh under the National Disaster Response Fund. This is in addition to 506.25 crore released as central share of the State Disaster Response Fund for 2015-16. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And continuing our series on drought and water shortage across the states in the country, we're taking a look today at the situation in Talbehat town of Uttar Pradesh.
This sprawling fort in the Talbehat town of Lalitpur district, its historic buildings are all proof of a proud legacy, but unfortunately the glorious past is of no help in its hour of crisis. The population of nearly 17,000 is facing its first ever water shortage. The once bustling boat club is shut and even tourists are keeping away. Water tankers are everywhere.
हाँ, बांध ललितपुर जिला के अंदर 9-10 बांध है सर, और प्रथम बांध तो यहाँ पे अपना ललितपुर बांध है, वो मातरीला बांध है, जो कि मातरीला बांध से पानी बबीना के लिए और झांसी के लिए सप्लाई होता है और पर्याप्त मात्रा में वहाँ पानी पहुँचता है, लेकिन तालबेट के लिए पर्याप्त मात्रा में पानी नहीं मिल पाता है.
The Mansarovar Lake is the pride of the town, but the rate at which its water level is going down has become a cause for concern. It's not only a major attraction for tourists visiting the 16th century fort, but also a swimming haunt for local children who are dejected by the state of its health.
यहाँ पहले बहुत भरा रहता था और यहाँ नहाने के लिए आते थे और ये डूबा रहता था. अब सूखा पड़ रहा है यहाँ और बोट क्लब भी बंद हो रही है इसी के कारण. यहाँ से भरा रहता था जी, यहाँ से नहाते थे बच्चे लोग.
The water shortage extends to the entire Lalitpur district. Most of the medieval age wells are dry. Farmers are the worst sufferers. Although on 19th of April, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav toured the district and promised assistance.
बुंदेलखंड की स्थिति आज बहुत दयनीय हो गई है। बुंदेलखंड को अपने हालात पर मरने के लिए छोड़ दिया गया है। आज उमा भारती जी यहाँ से मिनिस्टर हैं, जल संसाधन मंत्री हैं, लेकिन बहुत दयनीय स्थिति है। ललितपुर से लेके झांसी, जालौन, बांदा, हमीरपुर, लोग एक एक बूंद पानी के लिए मोहताज हैं। बहुत ज़बरदस्त तरीके से पलायन हो रहा, पशुओं की मौतें हो रही हैं, यहाँ तक लोग सुसाइड कर रहे हैं। इसकी वजह से लोगों की शादियाँ नहीं हो पा रही हैं, कई शादियाँ छूट गई हैं। हम समझते हैं कि इससे दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण स्थिति महाराष्ट्र में भी नहीं होगी जितनी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण स्थिति बुंदेलखंड की है।
Talbehat and its adjoining areas are still surviving on the water bodies built in a distant past, but the need of the hour is to focus on recharging them and also to come up with efficient solutions today. From Talbehat in Uttar Pradesh, Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
We'll keep an eye out on the drought developments in the country. Meanwhile, in politics, the suspense continues of the fate of the 9 dissident MLAs ahead of the floor test in Uttarakhand Assembly on the 10th of May. The State High Court today reserved its order on the matter for the 9th of May, a day before the vote of confidence. Meanwhile, in a bid to keep their respective flocks intact, both the Congress and the BJP have issued whips to their MLAs.
The Uttarakhand High Court on Saturday reserved its verdict on the fate of 9 dissident MLAs for May 9th. The verdict will determine whether they can take part in the vote of confidence in the Uttarakhand Assembly on 10th of May.
The hearing has been completed by both sides, and the distinguished judge has said that on Monday morning at 10:15 a.m. he has pronounced his judgment.
The dissidents are hoping that the High Court verdict will be in their favor.
पूरी तरह पूरा विश्वास है कि उच्च न्यायालय से निश्चित रूप से निर्णय हमारे पक्ष में आएगा। और मुझे दूसरा इस बात का बड़ा अफसोस है कि माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय के निर्णय को मीडिया ने इस कदर उछाला कि 9 विधायकों के को वोट देने का अधिकार रोका। माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने बहुत साफ कहा था कि इन 9 विधायकों का इस मामले में हम कोई कुछ भी नहीं कह सकते क्योंकि मामला उच्च न्यायालय में लंबित है।
The Supreme Court on Friday ordered a floor test for the Harish Rawat government on May 10th, but it barred dissident MLAs from taking part in the proceedings. Challenging the verdict, rebel MLAs moved the Nainital High Court on Friday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now to the national capital, where Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today addressed a protest rally in the city demanding action in the Augusta Westland helicopter case, accusing Prime Minister Narendra Modi of deliberately going soft on Congress Party Chief Sonia Gandhi. He said that the government was not pursuing the probe seriously. He also claimed that the Delhi government will teach them how to probe such cases if the centre hands over the anti-corruption branch to it.
Protests over the Augusta Westland scam continue. On Saturday, it was the Aam Aadmi Party that was leading the charge. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal challenged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to arrest Congress Party President Sonia Gandhi over corruption charges in the multi-million-dollar helicopter deal. Kejriwal also accused the Modi government of going soft on the Congress.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, हमने आपको एक्शन लेने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री बनाया था। इटली की अदालत के ऊपर सारा काम छोड़ने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनाया था।
Last month, a Milan Court of Appeals has said in its order that kickbacks were paid to Indian politicians and bureaucrats. Kejriwal insists that Modi did not pursue the probe since he himself had many things to hide.
एक सीक्रेट बताता हूं, नरेंद्र मोदी जी का डिग्री घोटाला निकल के आया है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने एफिडेविट में बोला, बार-बार एफिडेविट लिखा, उन्होंने कहा कि मैंने दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से बीए किया है। उन्होंने कहा कि मैंने गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी से एमए किया है। दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी का एडमिशन फॉर्म देख लिए सारे, कोई एडमिशन नहीं लिया इन्होंने। एनरोलमेंट रजिस्टर देख लिया, कोई एनरोलमेंट रजिस्टर में इनका नाम नहीं है। इसका मतलब बीए की डिग्री फर्जी है।
The BJP instead accused Kejriwal of making baseless accusations since he himself had not taken sanction against those involved in the Commonwealth Games scam.
उन्होंने सत्ता में आने के पहले कहा था कि मैं सत्ता लेने के बाद ओथ के 8 दिन बाद शीला दीक्षित जेल में जाएगी। अब 2 साल हो गए, शीला दीक्षित के बारे में कुछ एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं हुई, कुछ काम नहीं हो रहा है। अपना काम छोड़कर दूसरों पर टीका टिप्पणी करना और मीडिया में छाए रहना, ये उनका स्टाइल है।
The Congress has also denied Kejriwal's allegations.
Aam Aadmi Party, if it should come out with a white paper, how many of their ministers were sacked by the Chief Minister on alleged charges of malfeasance and other wrongdoings in the past 1 year? How many of their MLAs
are facing very serious criminal cases. So therefore, before making a protest or before charging somebody else, they should first put their own house in order.
The UPA government froze payments for the Augusta-Westland helicopters in February 2013 after the Italian police arrested Giuseppe Orsi, Finmeccanicas then chairman and chief executive, for allegedly paying bribes to middlemen to secure the deal. The multi-crore rupee deal was finally cancelled in 2014. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, 3 militants allegedly of the Hizbul Mujahideen were killed in an encounter in Kashmir's Pulwama district early on Saturday morning. But following that incident, the incident in fact triggered clashes, leading to train services being suspended between Srinagar and Banihal. Here's a report.
3 militants were killed on Saturday morning in an encounter with the security forces in South Kashmir's Pulwama district. While one militant belonged to Lashkar-e-Toiba, the other 2 are members of the Hizbul Mujahideen group. The encounter started late on Friday night after security forces received specific intelligence about the presence of militants. Security teams also recovered 3 AK-47 rifles and ammunition from the militants.
रात तकरीबन 11:30 बजे हमें खबर मिला था कि पंचगांव के घर में 3 मिलिटेंट वहां छिपे हुए हैं। 12 बजे करीब हमने ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया और 12:30 बजे तक हमारा कॉर्डन एस्टैब्लिश हो चुका था। हमने पहले मिलिटेंट्स को ऑप्शन दिया कि सरेंडर करने के लिए, लेकिन उन्होंने हमारे जवानों के ऊपर फायर कर दिया। जवाबी फायर में हमारे जवानों ने तीनों मिलिटेंट को मार गिराया और तकरीबन 6 बजे तक ये ऑपरेशन खत्म हो चुका था।
Meanwhile, train services between Srinagar and Banihal were suspended on Saturday after protests erupted in several parts of Pulwama district. People protesting against the Pulwama encounter pelted stones on the security forces. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With a quick break here, we'll be back with more national and international news in a bit. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to India's World.
More balanced Asia, which is inclusive and which is not under the hegemonic domination of any single country.
So long as the American troops are there in Afghanistan, the relationship with Pakistan has to be maintained. Otherwise, those Americans can be sitting ducks as well.
There is a difference between the Obama presidency and the Bush presidency, and a lot of it is related to the personal vision of the two presidents, both domestic and foreign. So, therefore, yes, if Donald Trump becomes president, there will be changes.
Watch experts discuss the issue in India's World on Rajya Sabha Television.
Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
It should be absolutely reasonable. It has to be under scrutiny. Of course, it has to be adequate.
हमारे यहाँ तकरीबन 10 साल से कुछ सैलरी अलाउंसेस में बढ़ोतरी नहीं हुए.
There are no manageable standards of finding out the performance.
What should be the scope of judicial review?
Only political questions are kept out of the judicial review.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha Television.
Ellora Caves, an unimaginable and detailed work of art. The finest example of rock cave temple in India with 34 caves. Built by the rulers of the Rashtrakuta dynasty between 350 AD and 1000 AD. Striking sculptures and murals are the hallmark of the caves. The Kailash temple is the largest monolith structure of the world, an impressive 15-feet statue of Buddha seated in two-story structure of stupa with all the grace. It took about 5 centuries to complete the structure, made with 200,000 tons of rock.
Welcome back. Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi addressed an election rally in Madurai city on Saturday, targeting AIADMK Chief and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha over a number of issues including unemployment and corruption. He promised that the Congress-DMK alliance will ban liquor in the state. Polling for the 234 Assembly will be held on May 16th and votes will be counted on the 19th of May.
For our sisters who are most impacted by the liquor problem in this state, we will implement total prohibition. For farmers, we are going to carry out a loan waiver and waive the loans borrowed from nationalized banks and cooperatives.
Meanwhile, in more news, 40 school students were hospitalized after consuming midday meals at a secondary school in Banswara district of Rajasthan. The incident took place on Friday after children had lunch consisting of dal and rotis prepared in the school. Initially, the students were admitted to community hospital, but when their condition deteriorated further, they were transferred to a district hospital. Food samples will be sent for testing to find out the cause of the poisoning. This is the second such instance in the last 2 days ago, where 2 children died in UP's Mathura city after consuming a midday meal. Meanwhile, in West Bengal, the governor today condemned the student clashes at Jadavpur University that broke out yesterday. Governor K.N. Tripathi claimed that the university was turning into a centre of disturbance, even as he asked authorities to take strict action against the culprits. On Friday, left ABVP students clashed in the university campus during the screening of director Vivek Agnihotri's film Buddha in a traffic jam. Several students were injured, even as eyewitnesses claimed that the campus was invaded by outsiders and some girls were allegedly molested. BJP's leader, Rupa Ganguly, was also not allowed to enter the university's premises. Left-wing students detained 4 ABVP workers who were later handed over to the police. Meanwhile, the West Bengal BJP has accused the left and university's vice-chancellor of supporting anti-national elements in the university.
इन्होंने एबीवीपी के ऊपर झूठा मामला लगाया। उनको हमारा एबीवीपी का 4 कार्यकर्ता को बुरी तरह से पीटे गए। उसके बाद थाना में भी दाखिल किया गया। तो इसलिए मैं इस घटना का निंदा करता हूं। जो पढ़ने आता है जादवपुर में उसका काम पढ़ना, बाकी चीज में दखलदारी नहीं देना चाहिए। छात्र छात्री का काम ही है उनका एजुकेशन के लिए वो सोचे।
And with that, let's take you through some more national news updates in Nationwide. The National Investigating Agency today filed a charge sheet against Dawood Ibrahim's D Company members who were allegedly assigned to spread unrest and communal violence across the country by targeting religious leaders. The NIA filed charge sheet against 10 members of the D Company, including 7 arrested last year. The indefinite hunger strike by Jawaharlal Nehru University students in the capital entered its 10th day today, with JNUSU student president Kanhaiya Kumar withdrawing his fast due to medical reasons. So far, 6 JNU students have withdrawn their fast against the punishment by the university in connection with an event on the 9th of February, during which anti-national slogans were allegedly raised. 14 others, though, are still continuing the hunger strike. Some JNU alumni will also be sitting on a one-day hunger strike in solidarity with the students. The Delhi police on Saturday released 4 suspects out of 10 detained for their alleged ideological leaning towards the Jaish-e-Mohammed. The police released them citing lack of adequate evidence 3 days after they were questioned by the anti-terrorism unit. Of the 4, 3 are from Delhi's Chandmarg area, while the other one is from Ghaziabad's Loni area. All right, on to international news. Nepal yesterday recalled its ambassador to India over charges of non-cooperation and indulging in anti-government activities. Ambassador Deep Kumar Upadhyay reportedly confronted Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli regarding the cancellation of President Bidya Devi Bhandari's scheduled visit to India. The Nepalese president was scheduled to visit India from the 9th of May as the state guest at the invitation of President Pranab Mukherjee. Now, Upadhyay, a leader of the opposition Nepali Congress, was appointed as Nepal's envoy to India in April last year. He's also been accused of visiting Madhesi districts of southern Nepal along with the Indian envoy without informing the foreign ministry. The Canadian government today sent trucks and helicopters on Friday to safely remove thousands of people stranded north of a wildfire that ravaged nearly 250,000 acres. Officials fear the massive blaze could double in size in the coming days.
Canada's monster wildlife could double in size, meaning there is no time to lose for those still caught in its path. Fleeing for their lives, people have piled onto at least 1,500 vehicles on the only highway out of Fort McMurray in Alberta.
Our government has met all of the Alberta government's requests for assistance, including providing air assets and 7,000 cots for evacuees in emergency shelters, with 13,000 more on the way. We continue to monitor the situation closely, with high temperatures and shifting winds changing rapidly, and we continue to urge caution to all evacuees.
Helicopters hovered overhead, watching for flames on Friday, and police set up emergency fuel stations along the road to keep the line of cars moving. The wildfire has already forced precautionary production cuts or shutdowns at about a dozen major facilities, eating into a global crude surplus and supporting oil prices this week.
What we're looking at right now still, our primary focus is the safety of the town, the safety of the residents of the town.
Charred ruins are all that is left of some neighborhoods of the oil town, with 1,600 structures thought to have been destroyed by a blaze already described as bigger than New York City. The Inferno, the largest of 40 wildfires burning across the province of Alberta, has forced some 88,000 residents, the entire population of Fort McMurray, to flee for safety. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
London has elected its first ever Muslim mayor after the ruling Conservative Party lost control of the capital. Sadiq Khan, the son of a Pakistani bus driver, will now lead the city for the Labour Party.
I therefore declare Sadiq Khan to be elected as the new Mayor of London.
A big victory after a bitter campaign. Sadiq Khan of the Labour Party is the new Mayor of London. Son of a Pakistani bus driver, Khan was accused of being too close to Muslim extremists.
Thank you, London. London is the greatest city in the world. I'm so proud of our city. I'm deeply humbled by the hope and trust you've placed in me today.
On the other side, a painful defeat for the man who started favourite. Wealthy, conservative maverick Zach Goldsmith tried hard to associate Sadiq Khan with Islamic extremists.
I'm disappointed, of course, by the result, that I won't be able to deliver a manifesto that I'm really proud of.
In his victory speech, Khan referred to his humble origins and said he had never imagined that someone like him became the Mayor of London. His victory, which gave him the largest personal mandate of any politician in UK's history, ends 8 years of Conservative control of City Hall.
This election was not without controversy, and I'm so proud that London has today chosen hope over fear and unity over division.
London, one of the most diverse cities in the world that prides itself on tolerance, seems to have ensured that Sadiq Khan's religion was no barrier to his election.
His father came from somewhere else, and look at him today. He could be the most extraordinarily important Muslim leader in the world.
Sadiq Khan may have captured international attention, becoming the first Muslim mayor of a major Western capital. But right now, he will be judged locally on what he can do about London's transport problems and perhaps, above all, its chronic shortage of affordable housing. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's take you through some more international news updates in Global Buzz. Russia's defense ministry reported that a temporary ceasefire in the Syrian battleground city of Aleppo has been extended for 72 hours starting midnight on Saturday to prevent the situation from worsening. Syrian rebel group Al-Nusra Front captured the Khan Tuman village outside Aleppo city on Friday. Together with the United States, Moscow has been spearheading the latest diplomatic push to resolve the protracted conflict in the country. A marine vessel today rescued 37 immigrants, including 10 women and 3 babies, 17 miles off the east coast of Alboran Island in Spain. The refugees departed from Morocco on the 6th morning and were later rescued in the evening. The rescued immigrants had no major injuries, however, a few were suffering from cold symptoms. They will be handed over to the local authorities after being treated by the volunteers of the Red Cross. A US policeman was arrested on Friday on suspicion of killing his wife and then carrying out 2 deadly shootings at shopping centers in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. He's been taken to the Montgomery County Police Headquarters for further questioning. He worked for the US Department of Homeland Security and was said to be on administrative leave after his estranged wife obtained a protective order against him. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Friday hailed the country's recent nuclear tests and launch of a satellite into space at the opening Congress of the country's ruling Workers' Party. The 7th Workers' Party Congress in Pyongyang is the first in the last 36 years. During the Congress, Kim is expected to further consolidate his control of the country that has grown increasingly isolated over its pursuit of nuclear weapons. And now let's get you the latest from the world of sports in Sports Beat. Ace Indian wrestler Vinesh Phogat and Sakshi Malik created history on Saturday by grabbing 2 spots in the women's wrestling for the Rio Olympics. Vinesh qualified in the 48kg category while Sakshi qualified in the 58kg category from the 2nd Olympics qualifier tournament being held in Istanbul. This is the first time that 2 female wrestlers have qualified for Olympics from India. The Indian women's team of Sanjana Shehrawat, Chinky Yadav and Gauri Sheran won the bronze medal in the 25 meters pistol event at the International Shooting Sport Federation's Junior World Cup in Germany. India placed 3rd in the competition's medals tally with a total of 10 medals, which include 3 gold, 4 silver and 3 bronze medals. Cameroon midfielder Patrick Ekeng died on Friday after collapsing on the pitch during a match for his club. The 26-year-old midfielder fell to the ground without any contact with another player in the 70th minute of the game against Viitorul, just 7 minutes after coming on as a substitute. And that's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thanks for joining us.